Over 40 million Americans over the age of 60 are walking around right now forgetting names, losing words mid-sentence, standing in doorways with no idea why they came. And almost every single one of them has been told the same thing. It is age. It is normal. It is just how this goes. Your memory is not failing. That is the first thing I need you to hear. Your brain is not broken. It is being deprived of what it needs to function. What I am about to show you is not in any pamphlet your doctor handed you at your last appointment. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what is happening inside your brain, and you will have 5 things you can do tonight to begin reversing it. Your brain is not giving up. It is asking for something you have not been giving it. Now let me tell you what you have almost certainly been told, because it needs to be said out loud before it can be challenged. The story goes like this. The brain shrinks with age. Neurons die. Connections fade. Memory loss is the inevitable price of getting older, and the best you can do is manage it, stay mentally active, do the crossword, and accept the rest. That story is incomplete, and in the ways that matter most, it is wrong. What the research actually shows is that the brain retains neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to form new connections and repair existing ones well into the 80s, when given the correct inputs. And here is the specific mechanism that changes everything. Cerebral blood flow, meaning the volume of blood delivering oxygen and glucose to brain tissue every minute, decreases by up to 20% between the ages of 60 and 80 in sedentary adults. That reduction alone accounts for the majority of what people experience as memory decline. Not neuron death, not irreversible structural damage. Reduced delivery of fuel and oxygen to tissue that is still alive, still capable, and still waiting. The difference between a failing brain and a starving brain is not a matter of genetics. It is a matter of what you are or are not doing every day. Before I show you what to do, I want you to feel what this actually looks like, because I think you already know this scene. You are standing in the kitchen doorway. You are holding a dish towel. The afternoon light is coming through the window at that low angle it gets around 4 o'clock, and you are completely, utterly blank. Something brought you in here, something needed doing, but the thought has dissolved, not faded slowly, dissolved. And the harder you reach for it, the more thoroughly it disappears. You stand there for a moment longer than feels comfortable, then turn around and go back to your chair, and something small and cold settles in your chest that was not there before. Then there is the other moment, the conversation. A friend you have known for 22 years. You are telling a story that involves them and their name. A name you have said 10,000 times simply will not come. It is right there, behind something. The pause stretches 1 second too long, and you feel the heat move into your face, and you say, quietly, "You know who I mean." And they do know. But you replay that pause for the rest of the day. That night, lying in the dark with the ceiling above you and the house quiet, you go back over it. Did they notice? Is this how it starts? And then the thought you have learned to reach for, the one that is supposed to be reassuring. It is just age. Everyone forgets things. I am 70. This is what 70 feels like. That acceptance is understandable. It is also wrong. Here is why you have never heard this from your doctor, and I want to be precise about this because it is not what most people assume. Your doctor is not withholding this from you. The average primary care appointment runs 12 minutes. There is no billing code for sitting with a 68-year-old patient and walking through cerebral blood flow, glucose regulation, and dietary neuroinflammation in enough detail to be genuinely useful. The pharmaceutical option, a prescription for a memory support medication, takes 90 seconds to write and generates revenue for someone in the system. The nutritional and lifestyle intervention takes 40 minutes to explain properly and generates nothing. That is not a criticism of your doctor as a person. It is a description of the system they work inside. Subscribe to this channel and hit like. This is what we exist for. The 40-minute conversation your appointment does not have time for. Now let me show you what is actually happening inside your brain, because once you understand the mechanism, the 5 steps at the end of this video will make complete physiological sense. Your brain represents roughly 2% of your body weight. It consumes 20% of your total oxygen supply. Every minute of every hour of every day, it is running at an extraordinary energy cost. And the function it prioritizes above almost all others is survival and basic processing. Memory consolidation and word retrieval are high-energy cognitive functions. They are, in the language of the body, luxury operations. And when the supply of oxygen and glucose to the brain drops through arterial stiffening, which is the gradual loss of elasticity in blood vessel walls that reduces their ability to pulse blood efficiently, or through dehydration, or simply through hours of physical stillness, those luxury operations are the first to be rationed. Think of it this way. Imagine a city's water pressure system on a day when the main supply drops. The water does not disappear equally from every building at once. The ground floor apartments still have pressure. The lower floors are fine. But the highest floors of the tallest buildings, the ones at the end of the longest supply line, they lose water first. Memory and word retrieval are the top floors. When cerebral blood flow drops, they go quiet before anything else does. That is not decline. That is rationing. The second mechanism is glucose dysregulation. Neurons, the brain's individual processing cells, each one a living unit that requires continuous fuel to function, run almost exclusively on glucose. When blood sugar is chronically unstable, spiking sharply after meals and crashing between them, neurons receive fuel in surges and then go without. The brain, during a glucose trough, is not declining. Think of a car engine running on fumes. The engine itself is not damaged. The components are intact. The tank is simply nearly empty, and the engine sputters and hesitates until it is refilled. Fill it correctly, and it runs again. That cognitive fog, that slow recall, that difficulty holding a thought from one sentence to the next, those are fuel shortage symptoms, not structural damage. The third mechanism is neuroinflammation, which means persistent immune system activation in brain tissue that interferes with the chemical signaling between neurons. Synapses, the microscopic gaps across which neurons pass chemical messages to each other, are where memory is formed and retrieved. When chronically inflamed tissue surrounds those gaps, the signal degrades. The memory still exists. The message is still there. But the pathway to retrieve it is congested, like a highway where the lanes have narrowed to one. These three mechanisms, reduced blood flow, unstable glucose, and neuroinflammation, are not separate problems. They feed each other, and they all share the same set of correctable causes. Now, which of these patterns are you living in? Because they present differently, and knowing your pattern matters. The first is what I call the morning fog pattern. If you are clear and functional in the evenings, but struggle before noon, words slow to come, information slow to process, dependent on 2 or 3 cups of coffee just to reach baseline, the primary driver is overnight dehydration combined with cortisol dysregulation. Cortisol is the body's primary stress hormone, and it should peak naturally in the morning to support alertness. In people with disrupted sleep, that morning peak becomes blunted. Most people with this pattern simply believe they are not morning people. The clinical reality is that their brain is arriving at the day already dehydrated and hormonally unprepared. The second is the afternoon crash pattern. Functional in the morning, significantly impaired between 2 and 4 in the afternoon. The fog that rolls in after lunch, the inability to concentrate, the reaching for something sweet or a second coffee just to push through. The primary driver here is the post-lunch glucose spike and crash cycle, compounded by the drop in cerebral blood flow that happens during sedentary afternoon hours. Most people treat this with caffeine. Caffeine temporarily masks the symptom while making the underlying glucose instability measurably worse. The third is the blank moment pattern. Generally functional, but experiencing sudden, complete blanks, a name, a word, an intention that appear without warning and resolve slowly. These are the most frightening because they feel like the brain switching off. They are not structural. They are inflammatory interference in the synaptic signal pathway. The brain did not lose the information. The road to it was temporarily blocked. Identify your pattern. The protocol at the end of this video addresses all three, but knowing your type tells you which step. Everything I have explained so far is the mechanism, the why behind what you are experiencing. What comes next is the part that most people watching this will never reach, and it is the only part that actually changes anything. A self-test you can run right now in the next 2 minutes with nothing but your own hands and then the 5 steps that begin tonight. Hold one hand at the level of your heart. Using the thumb of your other hand, press firmly on the thumbnail of that hand until the nail bed turns completely white. Hold it for 2 full seconds, then release. Watch the nail bed. Count how long it takes for the pink color to fully return. This is capillary refill time, the speed at which blood returns to peripheral tissue after compression, used clinically as a proxy for how efficiently your circulatory system is moving blood. Under 2 seconds means peripheral circulation is adequate. Between 2 and 3 seconds means circulation is sluggish. And if your circulation is sluggish at your fingertip, it is very likely suboptimal at the far more demanding destination of your brain. Over 3 seconds indicates significant circulatory impairment, and you should treat steps 1 and 2 of this protocol as your highest priority, and speak with your doctor about a vascular assessment. Now do the second test. Take a normal, comfortable breath in. Hold it without straining. Count the seconds until the first involuntary urge to breathe. Under 20 seconds indicates reduced oxygen efficiency, meaning the body's ability to extract and utilize oxygen from each breath, which directly limits the fuel your neurons receive. Write both numbers down. You will want to compare them in 4 weeks. Now let me tell you what you are almost certainly doing every day that is making both of those numbers worse. The first is chronic underhydration that you do not feel as thirst. Your brain is 73% water. By age 65, the brain's thirst signaling mechanism, the hypothalamic process that generates the conscious sensation of thirst, becomes significantly less sensitive. Most adults over 65 are mildly dehydrated every single day without ever feeling it. A 2% reduction in total body hydration produces measurable impairment in memory and concentration. Most people in this age group drink coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon, and genuinely believe they are staying hydrated. Coffee is a mild diuretic. It removes water from the body. Tea replaces some, but rarely enough. The brain runs slightly dry all day long, and the cognitive sluggishness that results gets attributed to age. It is not age. It is a water deficit. The second enemy is the refined carbohydrate evening meal. White bread, white rice, pasta, crackers, a couple of cookies before bed. These foods cause a rapid glucose spike, followed by a sharp overnight crash. That crash occurs precisely during the deep sleep phase when memory consolidation happens. The neurological process where the brain transfers experiences from short-term storage into long-term memory. A brain running on empty during that window cannot consolidate properly. Most people consider toast or crackers a light and harmless evening meal. Light on the stomach, perhaps, damaging to the night's neurological work. The third is unbroken sitting for more than 90 minutes at a time. After 90 minutes of physical stillness, cerebral blood flow measurably decreases. A 2020 study demonstrated that breaking sedentary time with just 3 minutes of light movement every 30 minutes maintained cerebral blood flow at levels comparable to continuous moderate exercise. Most people over 60 rest because their body needs it. Their brain pays the price in circulation every hour they stay still. And this is the part that explains everything your doctor never had time to say, because the corrective side of this equation is just as specific as the damage side. 3 allies beginning tonight. The first is beetroot. Beetroot contains dietary nitrates, compounds the body converts into nitric oxide, a molecule that relaxes and dilates blood vessel walls, which directly widens the cerebral blood vessels and increases the volume of blood reaching brain tissue. A 2010 Oxford University study demonstrated measurable improvement in cerebral perfusion within 90 minutes of consumption. One small roasted beet, or 150 milliliters of pure beetroot juice, not a sweetened cocktail from the refrigerated section before your evening meal. The cost is negligible. The mechanism is documented. The second is extra virgin olive oil. The oleocanthal compound in genuine extra virgin olive oil, a natural anti-inflammatory, with a mechanism similar to ibuprofen at the cellular level, has been shown in peer-reviewed research to reduce neuroinflammation and support the clearance of amyloid proteins, which are the debris molecules that accumulate between neurons and interfere with synaptic signaling. 2 tablespoons daily, drizzled cold on food. Do not heat it above 180 degrees Fahrenheit or the active compound degrades. The third is a 10-minute walk after each main meal. A post-meal walk of just 10 minutes blunts the glucose spike by 30 to 40%, sustains cerebral blood flow through the afternoon danger window, and stimulates the production of BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that directly stimulates the growth and repair of neurons. Free, no equipment. Results within the first week of consistent application. How old are you right now? Write your age in the comments below. I want to see exactly who is watching this channel, because your age directly shapes which of these 5 steps matters most for you specifically. Here is what 15 years of clinical practice and everything covered in this video actually comes down to. No prescription. No supplement stack costing hundreds of dollars a month. No clinic appointment. 5 steps, beginning tonight, using nothing beyond what is already in your kitchen and your own body's documented capacity to repair itself when given the correct inputs. Step 1. Before coffee, before food, before the phone, drink 500 milliliters of water, 2 full glasses. The overnight brain has been without water for 7 to 8 hours. Rehydration before stimulants is the single fastest intervention for morning cognitive fog, because it immediately restores the fluid environment in which neurons generate and transmit electrical signals. If plain water is difficult first thing, add a thin slice of lemon. Same result. Step 2. After every main meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, walk for 10 minutes at whatever pace is comfortable for you. This blunts the glucose spike, maintains cerebral blood flow, and activates BDNF production, the brain's own repair hormone. If walking is difficult due to joint problems, march gently in place for 10 minutes. The muscle contractions produce the same circulatory and metabolic effect. Step 3. 30 minutes before dinner, consume 1 small roasted beet, or 150 milliliters of pure beetroot juice. This elevates nitric oxide in the bloodstream, dilates cerebral blood vessels, and increases brain blood flow during the overnight memory consolidation window when your brain needs it most. Step 4. Remove white bread, crackers, pasta, and any sweetened items from the evening meal tonight. Replace them with vegetables, eggs, fish, or legumes. This is a subtraction, not an addition. It costs nothing, and it eliminates the overnight glucose crash that has been depriving your brain of fuel during its most critical maintenance hours. Step 5. Drizzle 2 tablespoons of cold extra virgin olive oil over your evening meal. Not heated. Cold, over food. This delivers oleocanthal to the brain overnight, reducing the neuroinflammation that has been congesting your synaptic pathways and supporting the glymphatic cycle, the brain's overnight waste clearance system that operates primarily during deep sleep, in clearing the debris that slows your recall.